Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare. This is the podcast where we teach compassionate communication, provide perspective, and inspire resilience. I'm your host, Marcus Engel, and with me, as always, is the hotness, aka Marvelyne.
Hello.
Hi. No more good day. So we were talking about what to share about compassion, and I think reflection is a really important part of compassion that often gets overlooked. And it's kind of like that idea of that an unexamined life is not worth living. I spend a lot of time in reflection. I spend maybe too much time going over things that happened in the past in my head. I think all of us can probably relate to that. But if I ask you a question about something that you did yesterday, maybe you might remember a few things that you would have already forgotten about. So I'd like to ask this question, just what did you witness yesterday that was compassionate? Did you witness anything yesterday that was compassionate?
Yesterday. Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, what I thought it was a rhetorical question.
No,
into the eons of space. Yesterday was busy, man. It was so busy. But what the first thing that pops in my head is actually you, because our plate was jam packed. We had so much to do, and our daughter needed a last minute babysitter, and instead of the chaos and the juggle, you just quickly said, yes, bring them on. And it was a huge relief to her. Now, I'm going to say at the same time, we love when they're here. So
to me, watching the grandkids isn't compassionate. That's selfish because I have so much fun with them.
I know it's a double thing because it's a delight, but it did throw a whole monkey wrench in all the things we had to do. But for our daughter, it was incredibly compassionate because she was in a pinch. She really needed some help at the last minute. So from her viewpoint, it was pure compassion. We got to play with the grandkids, and we had to juggle a few things to make it happen. But that was very compassionate to her.
We were to frame this a little more. We have been working our tails off so that we can go on vacation in a couple of days. And so we are trying and burning the midnight oil. I think yesterday I was at my desk most of the day.
And by day you mean like 18 hours. But I'm just saying, that's what happens when you work for yourself. You work like all day long.
I was gonna outright deny 18 hours, and then I remembered, okay, it was probably 15. So I'm not going to split hairs, but that's just where we are right now. I mean, we've got proposals that are going back and forth. We have marketing that's going out. We have our team. We have our family. We have our grandkids getting ready to start school. It's a really, really, really busy time. And there was a bit of an inconvenience to take 3 hours out of our day yesterday to babysit grandkids. But it's the joy of my life to have these kids running around. And I mean, that is what life is all about. It's not about how many hours you can sit at your desk and the things you accomplish or the wealth that you amass or the people that you impress. It's about me getting to get down on the floor and play around with a world's cutest 4-year-old as
he's
playing guitar and jumping all over my yoga ball and stuff like that. I see that as compassionate, but I really see it as fun. I really see it as fun, and maybe that's the beauty of compassion is when you give it to another, you're also getting it back in spades yourself, right? It's one of those principles of Second Timothy, right? About sowing plentifully and reaping plentifully. I believe the more compassion that we put out into the world, the more we receive back in a variety of ways, right? When we open ourselves to compassion, when we look for compassion, guess what? We're going to find it. We're going to see it. And we're going to want to be more a part of that. That's something I'm always striving for. And I get lost. I get lost a lot of time. I get lost in judgment. I get lost in my own self-centeredness and stuff like that. But much like working a muscle, the more we are looking around to see compassion, the more we're going to perform compassionate acts, and the more we're going to receive it coming back to us over time too.
It's true. It's true. And it's such a joy to be able to work on your desk with a baby at your hip. I mean, that's just it's such a joy to be in that position. So
Yeah.
it was great. It was great fun. And, it was fun to have that chaos for a minute, and then you get to come back to mom.
Yeah, grandkids are the
So
bomb.
it's the best. It is the best.
I witnessed you yesterday. We had the baby, the 18-month-old, and the 10-year-old, almost 10-year-old. And boy, is he such a help, and he loves his little sister so
He
much.
does.
And anytime that she cries, he immediately goes to her. He picks her up, he plays with her, he bounces her around, and just, as a 9-year-old kid, I was a little bit of a punk, right? I was only worried about me and my G.I. Joes and my Matchbox cars and my Scooby-Doo. I wasn't worried about too many other people. And it brings about compassion when I see such a loving act done from one sibling to the next. That warms my heart, and to know that we support these kids to help them know that that's the way you are to other people. It's just right to be kind, to be decent, to be loving and supportive to other people. If I leave a legacy in this world, it's going to be through those kids, and I feel so fortunate that we get to benefit from the compassionate things that we do for them. It's just life. It's just love. It's just all piles on top of each other.
I know. It's insanely sweet to watch how great they are with each other. I know we're talking too much about our grandkids, but watching them be so kind to each other. I will tell you, they had their first day of school, and I got to witness the kindergarten teacher, the pre-K teacher. The 4-year-old started pre-K. And when they dropped the kindergarten class off, the 4-year-old, it's pre-K, when they dropped him off at school, the teacher stopped him at the door, and he was beside himself excited because he's witnessed his older brother go to school. And the older son was not excited when he started pre-K. He was like,
scared to death.
Because he didn't have an example. But the 4-year-old this year was just beside himself. But the teacher stopped him at the door and said, "Hey, go hug your mom, bye." And he turned around and ran and hugged, and we got a video. He hugged the mom bye. And I thought, that is a compassionate teacher
yeah.
who understands how much that hug means to mom.
To the moms, yeah.
And all the moms who, it's a big deal when you leave your baby at kindergarten for the first time, because, there's no going back. Once they start school, it's, oh. So I thought that was such an act of compassion to have the wisdom of that teacher to stop and say, go hug mom, bye. And it just meant the world, I know, to my daughter,
mom, yeah.
but I bet to every mom there, to have that last hug before the little kid runs off and enters the world of academia. So that was just something that just touched my heart today, that to see the compassion of that and wisdom of that teacher.
Yeah, we talk a lot about nurses. We talk a lot about social workers and respiratory therapists and physical therapists that are interacting with patients and their levels of compassion. But boy, it doesn't take too long to fall over into teachers, right? We know that
Yes.
that our country runs because of teachers. So if you're an educator that's getting back into the year, thank you for keeping the benefit of those kiddos at mind. And thank you for educating the next generation. Thank you for being that compassionate presence to not only the kids, but the moms too. It's a good time. Back to school always feels like a refresh. It feels like new possibilities and endless possibilities. And so we just want to wish everyone a happy new year, a happy new school year. And remember to hug your mom goodbye, right?
That's
Remember to hug
right.
your mama goodbye.
Or your grandma.
Or your grandma. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being with us for this episode of Compassion and Courage Conversations in Healthcare. I'm Marcus Engel. My co host here is Marvelyne Engel, aka The Hotness. And this is the podcast where we teach compassionate communication, provide perspective, and inspire resilience. Thank you to everyone who continues to rate and review and share and comment on the episodes. We really appreciate all the interaction. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time on the next episode of Compassion and Courage.